Hi, this is Matt from Personal Defense, and what I'm doing today is I'm going to review a Kimber Custom II, and this is chambered in 45 ACP. So first of all, we're going to do a safety check of the weapon. Nothing in the magazine, nothing in the chamber. So, what do I like? What do I don't like? These are my opinions. First of all, when I got this Custom II, it was literally dripping in Cosmoline. It took a good 2 hours just to clean the weapon, and the amount of rust that came out of this thing was absolutely unreal. Because of that, I actually called tech support at Kimber, and they were very, very helpful. I gave them the serial number, and the manufacturing date was roughly about 9 months prior to me getting delivery on it. So that would explain some of the rust. Now this is the basic entry-level Kimber, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're not looking at anything super fancy. Just something's got a lot of good solid tolerances to it. And the sight's extremely basic. Black on black. You might even notice just a little touch of white there, and that's from me just taking a crayon and dusting it because I wanted to be able to actually look at those front sights and be able to get a good sight picture. The other thing different about this from stock, ambidextrous safety. I'm a left-handed shooter. I do shoot with my right hand, but I'm predominantly left-handed. I wanted an ambi safety. So a little bit of work on that and a little bit more on the cleaning end of things because, as I said, everything was really stiff and it was rusty on top of it. So if you look at the barrel here, it's beautiful, nice and shiny. Well, it got that way with help of a little bit of flitz. Now, I like flitz. It works well. And what I did was I just used finger pressure on it. I did not use a tool or anything. It really helped just to polish it up and get as much of that surface rust off of there as possible. What can I say about this firearm? It's a typical 1911 in 45 ACP, but it is not your grandpa's 1911. It's not like a GI series where you could just take them, and for those of you that have been around for a long time like me, you'd be able to shake them and see if they were working properly. The tolerances that they build them to today, extremely tight. That's why you hear no shaking whatsoever. I can get a very nice purchase on this firearm. Rubber grips. Some people have a problem with them. I don't. Personally, I like these. These work for me just fine because I can get set up here, get my grip in, and we're good to go. So, very, very nice. Trigger pull on this is roughly 3.8 pounds, give or take. So 3 pounds, 8 ounces. Barely squeeze, and the gun goes bang. Now, in the first 100 rounds, I had several failure to feeds, and I spoke with Kimber about that, as well as from my own experience. It's just simply because the weapon is really tight. This is a very, very tight tolerance 1911. So after I passed the 100 round mark, everything evened out, and I really have not had any failures to feed or failures to extract for that matter. It's been very good. Obviously, I keep it lubricated properly, make sure that everything is clean. If it sits in the case for any length of time whatsoever, I will still clean it again because, as you know, there's a lot of moving parts in here. Now, the 1911 is an iconic design. It was used by the United States Armed Forces for decades. John Moses Browning was a genius when it came to it. And for those of you that appreciate what this handgun stands for, it's very good. Now, there are a lot of other 1911 style 45s that are on the market, but I'm perfectly happy with this. The only thing that I could anticipate changing on this in the future are the sights, because the black on black here just doesn't quite do it for me. I'd like to have something that was a little bit different visibility. So what will they get changed to? Hard to tell. It just depends. As far as accuracy on this thing, it's a tack driver. At 5 yards, essentially I made a ragged hole, 30 rounds, and that was the first time right at the range. So absolutely fantastic, high quality firearm. I still have the original Kimber magazine. Haven't seen any reason to change. Works just fine. Just like with anything, maintain them properly, check them for function, and normally you're good to go. But always be safe about these things. As with any firearm, always assume that they are loaded and handle them accordingly. Do not muzzle sweep somebody when you're at the range or do something silly. As far as cleaning, does this clean as easily as a Glock? Of course not. It's 1911. There is more to it in taking it down than with, say, something like a Glock or a Smith & Wesson M&P. So, unfortunately, I have to say that sometimes when I go to the range, the trade-off is, do I really want to take the time to clean this once I'm done? And sometimes the answer is no, so I'll take something else to the range with me. But when it comes to something that just feels really good in your hand, that's a solid performer in 45 ACP, I'm very happy with the Kimber Custom II. Good firearm, made a couple of changes to personalize it, just like many of you folks out there tend to do anyway. As far as concealed carry, can you conceal carry this? Yes, you can. Would I conceal carry this on a regular basis? Probably not. And the reason for that is safety. Now, I know that there are a lot of people, and I have friends that will disagree with me on this, and they will carry a 45 ACP like this in condition 1, cocked and locked, and they see absolutely nothing wrong with it. Well, with a light trigger and this type of safety, all it takes is you to move the wrong way and the safety gets disengaged. This, if it happens to get pressed, and then bang. There's all kinds of stories out there in the news, on YouTube, and other gun sites as well, as people having negligent or accidental discharges. So if I were to carry this, most likely it would be in a shoulder holster. It would not be inside the waistband. It wouldn't be appendix carry, because there's just too many examples out there where accidents do happen. So I prefer carrying something a little bit different. But if you're looking for concealed carry, will this work for you? Sure. The thing is, just train with it. But in closing, fantastic firearm. I don't really see that you're going to have any problems with it when you take it to the range. Just remember, if you're a new shooter, these things do have some recoil to them. I don't care what people say, they do have recoil. If you're firing 230 grain hardball, this baby's going to have a little bit of a punch to it. But the same thing can be said of a 357 Magnum or a 44 mag. And just be aware. So anyway, in closing, great entry level, check your prices at your local gun shops as well as some of the big box stores, because these can be had at very good prices. You might find some unscrupulous people that will charge you full boat retail for this, but it's a nice piece. So anyway, until next time, be safe out there.